You're listening
You're listening
You're listening
to another episode
of the FreshTakes
podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Fresh Takes podcast. I am your host, Tim, alongside my co-host, Tank. And we're coming at you a day late because, every once in a while, sometimes people get hit with that stomach bug, and that was me last night.
Yeah, how you feeling on that?
I feel a lot better. I don't feel queasy and really overheated or anything. I also think it's because I was doing a lot trying to practice working on my leg.
I saw that video. You walking. Yes, it was ugly, but at least you're
It,
getting some exercise on it now.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just the bottom of my foot hurts. So like I can't lean a lot of pressure on because of my foot. It's not even my knee. So,
Right?
sometimes I just gotta wake up my foot before I try and do some stuff. Say, I was sitting down sorting through Christmas presents in here, and then I decided to try and make the video, so my foot was hurting. Wasn't awake.
Oh, you're already wrapping my Christmas presents. Awesome.
Yeah. Make sure you look out for that Jalen Ramsey pop.
You and that Jalen Ramsey.
I know how much you like him.
He's my favorite.
Dude, he's worth like $30. Somebody had him on that one stream that I watched for like 14. I should have snagged him when they had him, but they sold him already.
I mean, I'd take him for
Say I
like
would have snagged
50
it and sent it to
cents.
you.
I would have taken 50 cents. I would have paid 50 cents for it.
Only 50 cents? What?
Yeah, that's all he's worth to me.
Hey, he's a big hot commodity. It was when he was
I
with
don't
the
know.
Jaguars.
I mean, if you want to talk about hot commodities, let's go ahead and start talking about it. Devontae Adams already. I mean, where's he going?
Ooh, yeah. I think if you guys don't know, today's episode, we're not going to really go over the games last week because by now everybody should know what the games are. So we're going to talk like current football right now. And yeah,
Oh,
Devontae
wait.
Adams.
We got to get into that catch though later, but
Well, we'll get into
that'll
that
be later.
stuff, but I mean, we're not going to like go into detail about every game like we usually do. We're going to talk like what's going on right now in the world of football. And Devontae Adams requesting a trade after Antonio Pierce liking something on Instagram saying that Adams could have played his very last snap as a Raider. So, do you think he's faking the hamstring injury and that this is what the Raiders are saying just to not play him?
I feel a little bit.
So
Yeah,
where do you
I feel
think he
like
goes?
dude, like a little bit of me says the Jets because of the Aaron Rodgers duo up there. A little bit of me says the Saints with Derek Carr. Uh, but in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie. I would like to have on the Cowboys, but we will not go for it. I already
You
know
don't got the
one, we
money.
don't have the money. Two, we really just don't. I just don't see Jerry Jones being like, oh, if we couldn't even pull the trigger on Derrick Henry, why do I even feel like we're going to be able to pull a trigger on Devontae Adams?
What did you say
But
about the potential of who you guys could trade for?
I saw that we were talking about Murray Cooper.
Yeah, bring Coop back. I mean, Brandon Cooks is hurt, so Coop, I think it's like
Oh yeah,
656K would only hit the cap. I mean, you wouldn't be able to re-sign him next year, but
I just, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking Murray Cooper back. Um, but it's honestly coming down to either the Jets or the Saints. Other than that, I don't know who else. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that could use him, but I don't know who would land him. I do know I read something, and then I saw it in our group chat. I think it was your brother also saying that the Raiders will not trade with the Chiefs.
Which I had a like dialed up trade there that they could have done because they want a second round pick. The Chiefs can give up a second round pick because you know they're going to be picking in like the 27 to 32 range next year.
Yeah,
Because we all know they're going to go in the playoffs. They're going to take a deep run. Even if they don't make the Super Bowl, they're going to go deep in the playoffs. So, you know, you give up a second rounder. They need a quarterback. So you give them Carson Wentz. And honestly, you just sign whoever you can out of the free agency to back up Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what? Chad Henne backed him up for two drives and went 99 yards down the field. So
I'm about to
clearly,
say was it 2 or 3? Yeah,
I say clearly,
wasn't
you
even a
don't
full
need
game.
a good quarterback with that team. And then you
Right.
give him Sky Moore, who has disappointed you the first four games of the season. So Sky Moore, Carson Wentz, a second round pick, and maybe even a fourth next year for, say, Adams and a fifth.
I mean, that wouldn't be I would honestly entertain that trade,
I mean, I
but
get you don't want to trade against your division because most people
yeah,
don't like doing that, but I mean, that could really help you guys get something. I mean, you could potentially try and trade with the Jaguars and get maybe Mac Jones in there.
but I don't feel Mac Jones even fits that
Mac Jones is
scheme.
definitely better than Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
This is true; these are facts. But I'm just saying, like that's just my opinion. I mean, who do you? Okay, if I don't want to say if you were the GM, but if um, who do you off the bat, off like right off your head, who do you think are the top three teams that are going to trade for him?
The top that are gonna trade for him. I think that the Jets are definitely one, and that they'll give up somebody like Mike Williams or I know that they have like a stacked receiver core that they could afford to get rid of somebody, but I can't think of anybody other than Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson right now. And I know they're not going to get rid of Garrett Wilson,
No,
but I mean, you give them Mike Williams and a pick. I think that
I mean
Baltimore honestly could go for him.
Baltimore
And
wouldn't be.
say, and I mean, Baltimore willingly gave up a second round and like a fourth round for Roquan Smith that one year and never looked back. So Baltimore could definitely be one. They could definitely use the receiving because I mean Zay Flowers has looked kind of bad this year already, starting out. The tight ends aren't really doing much, and I mean Bateman, you barely hear from him. It's all Nelson Aguilar, really.
Yeah,
And then I think honestly, third one is a sneaky Pittsburgh Steelers,
I was gonna say my top three would be the Jets, Saints, and Steelers.
which I mean you give up Russell Wilson for him. Like honestly, I wouldn't even worry about the second round pick. If you're giving me Russell Wilson, I'll take Russell Wilson for Adams. And honestly, like a six round pick.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Um.
I think Pittsburgh really is one that people aren't really thinking about. But I also feel Pittsburgh could do it with the Titans and get D Hop because, you know, they got a bad spot with Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. You give them Russell Wilson and you're set up in your receiver core because you got George Pickens. That's about it.
Yeah. Now
They
you
lost
talk. You
Dante
talk.
Johnson, so you know, get another solid second person.
Now you did touch a little bit on it. The Andrews kind of situation in Baltimore. Uh, the tight end. What I want to talk about is this year. A lot of the tight ends are not going any work.
Oh, I know. Especially like if you look in fantasy, it's hard to find a tight end to use other than George Kittle,
Yeah,
and I
but
think
even
that's
with,
about
I mean,
it.
he's what hurt last week?
I would say he's been hurt, but I mean when he's not hurt, he's scoring touchdowns every game.
Yeah, but I mean, this
So
year tight ends are not what tight ends are normally doing.
that's
Um,
you know how when we first draft they give you like a little report of like your best players and who to trade for. Joe has Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews, and they sent him a thing saying that he is the best tight end core. And right now, both of his tight ends are putting up 0 points every week.
yeah, it's honestly a shocker. 'Cause, I mean, I think we kind of called it a little bit with Kelsey, mainly you, that he was going to be the block guy. He was going to be the decoy guy. He wasn't going to be like the first turn two, and it's showing. It really, really is showing
Well, I
that.
mean, in that Chargers game, he was like a big target. But I think, anytime they play the Chargers, he's a big target.
Well, not only that, but I mean, Mahomes took out their their
Well,
their
yeah, I
wide
mean, the
receiver.
whole Rashee Rice thing, but they still have a good receiving core out of that. Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, Sky Moore. I mean, yeah, they could use somebody like picking up Hunter Renfrew off of the free agency or something like that. I'm trying to think of who all receiver wise is still in the free agency because there's some pretty good receivers that are still out there. Um,
I'm this season. I don't know. There's been a lot of calls. Um, with that being said, go over tomorrow or today, whatever day you upload this, which will most likely be tomorrow.
it'll be
Um,
Thursday. I think we're gonna upload it. Well, you people will already know because it's uploaded, but I think we'll try and do a little earlier than 4 o'clock since it's on a
all right.
Thursday, not a Wednesday. Maybe like
So
a two
go
o'clock.
over to TikTok and you'll see the hot take that I have for this last previous week, of week 4 of the NFL.
Hot
Um,
take or hot tank?
no, it's going to stay hot takes. And the reason I like the name hot takes, but um, the reason I call it hot takes is because our name is fresh
Fresh
takes,
takes.
and it's kind of falls in with our name. That's why I go with hot takes because it is a hot take.
Well, you also never know when
But
Pat and I might do one.
yeah, so but no, this year I feel like everything is just different, and it's actually honestly it's hard to believe we're already in week 5 or getting ready to start week 5.
I mean, also the injuries. I think, every year they try to protect the players more, and every year more players are getting hurt. So whatever they're doing, they need to reverse it and stop.
I also feel like you all need a new field for the MetLife. Not you all as Giants, but the Giants do play there and the Jets
Yeah.
play there. You all need new turf.
Well, they've been saying for years that the Giants and the Jets need to get a new field because people are getting hurt too much on that field. That's the reason Josh Jacobs didn't sign with us. We offered him way more than Green Bay was, but he doesn't like New York's tax. He doesn't like New York's people, like the fans and all that, because of how toxic they can be, and he does not like that field. He got hurt on that field one time, so I can see why people don't want to play for New York.
I mean, just look at the Dallas Cowboys game with the Giants. Parsons went down. Trying to think of there was what.
Well, Parsons wasn't
Um,
the field.
I think the field played a little bit in it.
Well, no, because a player backed up onto him. If anything, it was the Giants lineman pushing another guy into Micah Parsons, and that's what hurt him. The person who got hurt because of the field was DeMarcus Lawrence.
That's what I meant.
I'm
Okay,
saying
yeah, you're
because
right.
they were showing his foot and everything because it got stuck on the field.
Okay, I had them backwards because I
Yeah,
was thinking of
Parsons got actually
Lawrence who
hurt.
got rolled up. Okay, so my fault. That's on me. I just had them both flip flop. But yeah, I mean that's I don't know. The injuries this year, the tight end's not playing well. This whole season's very cattywamped.
The quarterbacks aren't throwing like they used to as well. Like I
No.
think it's
Um,
hard to find a quarterback over 300 yards a week.
what's your thoughts about Derrick Henry not getting 200 yards? He was 199.
I mean, sometimes you gotta just say we don't want to take the risk on it, or sometimes you gotta be like, I don't want to embarrass the team too much. But because do you remember when the Ravens were like stomping on the Broncos, but they were like 6 yards short of beating the record of games of I think it was like 150 plus rushing yards streak, and they ran the ball, and then the Broncos coaches and stuff like flipped out on them for it.
I remember that game a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I can vaguely remember it, but not to an extent.
And I mean,
But
it's week 4. Henry could still do it again. But I mean, ending at 199 is kind of killer. But also, he was getting stopped. Like the first drive, he got 5 yards. The second down, he got a yard. So I mean, like the third down, if they run him, they know they're gonna run him, and I don't know.
I
Kind of,
mean,
kind of
I'm
crappy, but also kind of, you got to do what you got to do to make sure your players
no,
okay.
I get that. Thing it goes back to that statement of injuries. So,
I know we
but
said we're not going to really jump in the games, but of course, there's one game we do have to cover. Cowboys Giants. Cowboys win 20-15. If the Giants figure out how to punch it in the end zone, we win that game. Dallas looked
that's why I went
awful.
like
The
this. Like,
Giants defense actually looked very good for once. And I mean, I hate to say it, Daniel Jones 29 for 40, 281 yards and an interception. Jones looked pretty good out there. Singletary was very good. Malik Neighbors once again on fire, but I don't think he's playing this week.
now he's in a concussion protocol right now,
Yeah,
ain't
and
he?
Daboll said he's in like the early stages of it.
So,
So
I
I don't
mean,
know if he plays against Seattle.
honestly, I wasn't too impressed about the game. He's even as a Cowboys fan, it was a very horrible game.
It was also kind of sketchy with some of the like ref calls and all that. Like that Rico Dow touchdown where they called that hold and then picked it up and they clearly see a hold. And then the first drive for the Giants where they said that Daniel Bellinger was holding one of the Cowboys defender's face mask when the Cowboys defender was holding his face mask. So, a little sketchy about the ref play there. I think if the refs don't screw the Giants there, we have a little bit of a better chance. We would have made it 18-20
Yeah,
with
it
our
was like I
sixth
said,
field goal.
follow over to the TikTok and listen to the hot take.
But I'm going to
Um,
drop you a hot take right now.
Go for it.
It might be too early, but I'm calling Washington in our division.
Oh, they're definitely taking our
I think
division.
after Philly played against Tampa and the way that the Cowboys looked, Washington 100%.
I see Washington sweeping the Giants. I have a feeling they will pop, they might sweep Philly, but I
No,
have a gut
I
feeling.
think they get a 1-1 on Philly. In Philly, they're not going to win. But
And
in
then I
Washington, I
feel
think they win.
and then I feel they get a 1-1 with Dallas.
I don't know. I think depends on when they play Dallas because in the second half of the year Dallas kind of gives up.
Well, I know we play them, I think, the week before Thanksgiving.
You guys play them the very last game. You play them the 24th, which is, like you said, the week before Thanksgiving, which then 4 days later, you guys play us. And then you guys play them the very last game of the year.
So I have a feeling they'll beat us the week before Thanksgiving because then we'll take all the frustration out on the Giants, and then we'll beat them the last week of the season.
I don't know. I think you guys get the win over them the week before, and then you guys kind of like take a step back, like, yeah, we got this, we're kind of, and then you roll into the game against the Giants and you don't win. I think you guys are a little overconfident, and the Giants actually pull it out in that one. And then you guys go on to face the Bengals in prime time, and you lose that one. But then you guys go on to Carolina, and that's when you just beat the brakes off of Carolina.
You want to make a friendly wager on the Thanksgiving game?
No, because I always lose. I don't bet on the Giants because when I do, they lose. And I want to make it maybe one time if I don't bet on them, they actually win.
So where I work, there's a guidance counselor who I'm good friends with. he's a Steelers fan, so we made a bet for the Steelers Cowboys game. Cowboys wins. I have to take one of my jerseys, and he has to wear it. If Steelers win, he's wearing a jersey, and I gotta wear the jersey.
I'll tell you what. One of the streams that I watch, they always have an Amari Cooper pop. If the Cowboys win, I will buy it and ship it to your house.
Oh, it's not gonna be Jalen Ramsey.
Nah, it'll be Amari Cooper in a Cowboys outfit if they still have one. So who knows? Maybe he'll be back by then too.
You never know. Never know.
But yeah,
Uh, so real quick, if you don't mind, what was your like shock of the week?
my shock of the week. Definitely the Commanders beating the brakes off the Cardinals, but honestly, it would probably have to be how badly the Jets and the Broncos game was.
Yeah, I noticed that. So that I was going to talk about the Jets, how the Jets and Broncos. Like I was shocked about that one, but the other game that I was totally shocked about was how bad the Ravens beat the Bills.
I was also shocked with how the Vikings were up 28-3 and then the Packers came back close to the end.
Yeah,
There was also the shock of the Buccaneers being up by like 175 yards to the Eagles 0 yards. And Pat's not here to talk about it, but I think it's time for Sirianni to go. He watches Saquon bust out like a 70 some yard run, and then he ran the ball one more time the rest of the game. Like,
yeah.
dude, he is your best player. Feed him. Jalen Hurts is not good. You take away
No.
Smith and you take away AJ Brown, and you're seeing the real Jalen Hurts now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think we've told that a lot. Not that I'm not trying to pick on him. I mean, because if he was here, I'd say the same thing. But Jalen Hurts is not that team, and like you said, Sirianni needs to be on the hot seat. Currently, is there any coaches really truly on the hot seat?
I'd go Kevin Stefanski with how those Browns are playing. I'd put Stefanski on the hot seat. Definitely Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I was going to
Say
get ready to say,
Dougie P is definitely one I'd put on the hot seat. I mean, he knows that Travis Etienne is one of the best red zone players, and twice when they were in the red zone, he wasn't feeding it to Etienne.
I remember you talking about.
Um, yeah, and then he's not using Trevor Lawrence's potential. We saw how good of a quarterback Trevor Lawrence was the first year with Doug Peterson. And I don't think Peterson was calling plays. I think they had somebody else play calling. And now Peterson is calling the plays, and Lawrence is not being put out to his potential.
So, who do you think will be the first coach fired?
I think Peterson goes. I don't think he makes it through the year. I'm trying to think. If
Yeah,
the Giants can't punch it into the end zone, Dayball could be on the hot seat.
especially after winning the Coach of the Year.
Say, I think after week two, they were already like throwing Dayball in the hot seat because of the first game being god awful, and then the second game, not trusting Gillian to kick extra points for us and going for two all those times.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
like I said, you're always the biggest issue for the Giants is just being able to punch it into the end zone. That's
yeah, I think it's red zone play calling. That's our problem. Because I mean, other than that, the team looks great on offense. I'm not gonna lie. Wandale Robinson stepping up a whole lot. Malik Neighbors is beautiful out there. I think the only problem is, and I hate to say this because he's one of my favorites and I have his jersey, but Slayton is not doing anything for this team anymore. He's dropping everything that's like right in his hands, and they're not playing Jalen Hyatt. Last
no.
year, Hyatt was like our top receiver, and he was a rookie catching bombs that were 60, 70 yards down the field thrown by Tommy DeVito, and they're barely putting him out there.
I I was going to say something now. Dag nabbits.
And you can hate me or judge me all you want, but if we still had Darren Waller, we're 3-1 right now. If we have Darren Waller, we're beating Washington because we're getting those 2 points with Darren Waller. Guy's 6'8", like 280 pounds. Throw it up high. Waller's coming down with it. And I think we beat Dallas with him. I think we punch it
Oh,
in.
definitely. Hands down, you definitely beat
I
Dallas.
say Dallas can't
We
cover tight ends. So, if Darren Waller doesn't retire, I think we're 3-1 right now. And, we're on top of the division. But right now we're 1-3 at the bottom of the division. And that's where it is. We never have a good tight end. After Evan Ingram left, we struggled with tight ends.
I'm, like I said, that's your all's biggest issue is punching it in. But even if you can punch it in, and you have that kicker who can kick and everything. Even with 2 point conversions, y'all can still score.
Yeah. But all
So
right, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of punching it in and nice catches, let's go to that catch though with our one and only Tank.
Welcome to this week's episode of That Catch, though.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of That Catch Now. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. The honorable mention, which I did nominate an honorable mention this week, comes from none other than Emmanuel Ogba. I don't know how you say his last
Agba.
name, but it is from the Miami Dolphins. Not gonna lie, Tim nominated him and said if he's not on there, he's gonna fire me off the podcast, and I decided to at least put him on the
I
honorable
was just
mention.
gonna take out your segment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the three nominees I'm going to shoot up. The first one comes from none other than the Los Angeles Chargers, Lad McConkey. Here's the video. All right, here's video number two coming from the Dallas Cowboys, CD Lamb.
Short drop, quick throw, caught C.D. Lamb.
The last but not least, the last video is none other than Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It looked good. The catch, the toe taps, and that's a touchdown.
All right, you saw all three videos. Before I even tell you who's the winner, I'm going to shoot it over to Tim. Who do you think's going to win out of those three?
I think that DK Metcalf got snubbed on two great catches, but out of all of that, I would go Amon-Ra.
Well, drum roll, please. Well, the winner is Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Detroit Lions. And I'm sorry, but that toe touch, that catch is just beautiful. I'm sorry.
See, I would have went with DK, like the very first drive, he had that amazing catch on the sideline, and then that no call 2 point conversion that was a catch. I would have went with that one too. But I mean, I get you can't throw a nominee in there twice.
Yeah.
Because
So,
then, he's got a 66% chance of winning it.
right.
But
But come back to next week's episode and you can see three more nominees and possibly an honorable mention.
and comment down below if you think somebody else got snubbed.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I
like
like to see our comments.
just like I said with DK getting snubbed. Let us know if you guys think somebody else got snubbed. Like maybe DJ Moore had an amazing catch that Tank didn't see. But
I
all
mean,
right.
there's so many games going on. I don't see every single cat.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, you know that we kind of go into the 4 o'clock games after this, but we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna hit Tim with Have a Day. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I have 3 nominations myself for my Have a Day, with I'll give an honorable mention to DeAndre Swift, who looked god awful all this year and then blew up in his game against the who did they play? The Rams. Rams.
Yeah.
All right, so first
Gotta
up, my
think.
nominee is Jaden Reed of the Packers. 7 catches, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 running attempt for 2 yards. Next up is more than one player. It's a whole entire freaking defense as the San Francisco 49ers combined 6 sacks, 1 interception, 4 forced fumbles with 2 recoveries, and 1 defensive touchdown. And then, last but not least, the man who had himself a day and is the winner of the Tim's Have a Day, Derrick Henry, 199 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 3 catches for 10 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry, have yourself a day.
I'm actually honestly shocked that you did not go with the whole defense. I would have taken that one.
See, the defense was really good. It's just the whole giving up almost 300 yards total and then letting the team come back and score a little bit. That's the only reason I went with Derrick Henry over them, because Derrick Henry had an explosive game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of the episode, but still,
And
I would.
well, and the difference is Derrick Henry is one person. That defense was 11 people doing. So,
Touche.
I mean, maybe if they would have recovered one more of those fumbles they had, I would have gave it to them. But I mean, they did give me 30 points on fantasy and did lead me to my first victory of the year. Oh, and Pat also got his first victory. So this was the first week this year that all 3 of the Fresh Take boys won in fantasy.
Yeah, after I asked you to go switch mine around and you had to make mine, you renamed me that what was it? Tim
At
is the
first
best.
it was I suck at fantasy, and then it was Tim is the best host, FTP host.
And then you changed my photo to you.
To me. I had to go in and rechange your name because the picture of me going like this and the I suck at fantasy made it seem like it was me who was talking. So I was like, oh, I gotta change that.
Touche. Which I appreciate you doing that for me.
Yeah, even though Jeff Wilson got hurt in pregame.
Yeah.
But hey, you still
pulled
won.
it out.
I think the big thing was his player, the guy you faced, had Rashid Rice, and he went down right away.
So, well, we're just before we end this, where do you think who's number 32 in the league? We're going to try to do what Pat does now.
I mean, it's got to be the only team that still hasn't won yet, and that's Jacksonville.
I put Jacksonville at 33.
A 33?
Yeah.
Dang, they're so bad that you had to put
a college team.
I would say you putting Alabama up there. Texas.
Okay, real quick.
Texas.
Talk about Alabama real quick. Do you think Jalen Milroe goes to the NFL next year?
Dude, I don't even know Jalen Milroe. I don't really watch college. I watch LSU.
Did they win this week?
They did. They played South Alabama.
Okay.
I think it was like 42-14 or something like that.
So who do you put it in the mid range this
We talking like mid-20s or like 18 to 22?
We'll go 18 to 22.
18 to 22. I mean, give me Dallas at 18. Yeah, I'll take Dallas there. Give me Colts at like 22 because of
Where do you put Houston?
Houston. I mean Houston. I still put them in the top 10. They're like 9th maybe because they kind of struggled against Jacksonville.
Well, we all know number 1's going to be Chiefs, just because.
No, I put Minnesota. Minnesota's been scoring more. Minnesota's been scoring more points.
Well, even with Minnesota almost losing.
Yeah, and the Chiefs almost lost.
Well, thanks to the refs, they didn't.
I would say the week before, the Chiefs almost lost, but thanks to the refs, they didn't. And the week before, the Chiefs almost lost, but thanks to the refs, they didn't. And the week before, the Chiefs almost lost, but thanks to a toe on the line, they didn't. So I would not put the Chiefs at 1, which I saw a thing today that leading the MVP votes right now is Patrick Mahomes. When he is the 2nd most in turnovers this year, how is Patrick Mahomes leading? So, I think Jaden Daniels is getting snubbed because I think Jaden Daniels is right there at the top. And then
He's definitely getting rookie.
I'm putting Baker Mayfield at 2, and I'm putting Sam Darnold at 3.
I swear Jaden Daniels getting
Actually,
rookie
you
of the
know
year.
what? I'll take that back. I'm Jaden Daniels at 1, Baker at 2. I'm putting Alvin Kamara at 3. Alvin Kamara's been working his ace off this whole year so far.
I wouldn't mind seeing a non-quarterback win the MVP.
I mean, it could go towards it that way because this year the quarterbacks aren't really doing much. Like, there's nothing flashy with them.
Has there ever been a three-peat MVP?
Like 3 years in a row?
Yeah,
No, I think it's only been 2.
that's what I was thinking.
So, which Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying. I mean, Lamar could somehow pull it out.
Well, he would be a 2.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
Because the year before was Mahomes.
that's right.
So I don't know. I like I said, I'm putting Jaden Daniels at 1. Patrick Mahomes, I wouldn't even put in the top 10.
I agree.
I
can
think
get down
putting Mahomes at 1 is a stupid idea because Mahomes has not done anything worthwhile this year.
all about this, all about that.
I don't even think that he has a game over 300 yards.
Probably not.
So yeah. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is this week's episode of the Fresh Takes podcast. If you did enjoy, make sure you go ahead and leave a like and comment down below. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you know whenever we post. We try to post every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, but sometimes things happen. So we come at you a day late or later on in time. Or hey, sometimes we put bonus episodes like we did with the Fresh Takes Home Run Derby. If you did not watch that, there is a little clip. It's about a minute and a half long.
You didn't even put me in it.
There's no video of you.
I sent a video of me.
No, I did not get a video of you. So
I'll
you
get
never
back and
sent
recheck.
it. Say, I don't think you ever sent it.
I'll get back and recheck.
But if you guys want, go ahead and check out our Home Run Derby video. There's about a minute and 40 seconds of clips from the actual Home Run Derby. And Tank did get a video of one of our guys hitting a home run, but the video cuts off before you see the ball go over the fence. But afterwards, Tank, Pat, and I talk about the Home Run Derby, things that we could have improved on, things that we had fun with, things that, generally happen in the video, and then talked about potentially what we're going to do next year for the Home Run Derby and around the time frame for it. But other than that, like I said, comment down below if you thought somebody in Tank's segment got snubbed or if you thought somebody from my segment got snubbed. If you think the Niners should have won instead of Derrick Henry. But on to you, Tank!
Well, you can follow us on the good old X, aka FKAARTA. Twitter, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Don't forget, one lucky subscriber. Once we hit 100 subscribers, we'll win a prize from yours truly, Tim, Tank, and Pat. Like you said, hit the subscribe button, the notification button, the bell, all of those. Don't forget, Hot Takes is coming out later today. Yes. Other than that, Tank is signing off, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace, y'all.
Goodbye, everybody.